Whoa, 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 jail. You're going to jail. 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 During Black Women's, boy, y'all that is. During Black Women's, Libre la Vida Loca, Black Women's, Latinos, Heritage Black Women's Month, you going to jail.
All these diamonds on my body and they crystal clear. I make magic with these hundreds, watch them disappear. Big ol' raindrops up in my ear. If you gon' name drop, let's get it clear. Jesse, VVS, I just turn the water on. Big ol' flex, shit you never saw before. These niggas chasing me like waterfalls.
These niggas chasing me like waterfalls. Yes. During Black Women, Viva la Vida Loca, Black Women's, Latinos, Heritage Black Women's Month, Diddy, you going to jail. Whoa. Yeah, you going to jail. Hey, whoa. You going to jail, baby. All right. Let's get to it. Not even going to hold y'all a long time. Let's get into just a couple things, okay? Just a couple things to get into when we talk about Diddy. Before I get into that, where's everybody from? Where's everybody from? No yelling, boo. I'm sad. I'm sad because I like your drama. Yeah, I can't yell, y'all. The equalizer on this thing on StreamYard. So I need to get, the thing is, I have a microphone. I have a microphone, but I need to learn how to operate it. So probably today after some of my meetings later, I'm going to look at how to get this microphone rolling. But what's up, y'all? I'm seeing Narlands, Ghana. Okay. Gambia. Oh my gosh. Sudan. New York. I'm seeing Netherlands, Texas, Chicago. Okay. Upland, California. I don't know what that is, child. Upland, California. All right. I think this is Antigua. Your Haitian sister in London. What's up? Hey, Connecticut, Florida, Boston, baby. North Cracker-Lacka. Yo, speaking of North Carolina, last week when they was announcing that Kendrick was going to do the Super Bowl, people were saying, and y'all better have this type of energy for us when the Super Bowl come to North Carolina for PD Pablo, because we want to see North Carolina. Haitians in Brooklyn, I know y'all be up and through Brooklyn. Jamaicans, what's up? My cousins them. Maine, South Africa. Okay. I love it. Bahamas, Portugal, Ottawa. Okay. Speaking of Ottawa, that's in Canada. I actually have my Canadian vlog up. If you are in my members only, it actually is in my members only. And there are parts of the vlog when I make it live on my main channel that won't be in the main channel. So if you want to become a member, go ahead and just click join next to my name. I'm dropping more stuff over there, especially shit. Now that I have more time, I ain't got no job. I'm gonna be putting more exclusive things there for y'all. All right, let's get into just a couple things, child. We have just a couple things to talk about. Are we shocked? Are we shocked that Diddy got arrested last night? He got arrested in a hotel lobby last night, which gives me he was trying to escape, which gives me he was trying to, making his way downtown, walking fast. He was trying to escape the cuffs, baby. You can't escape the cuffs, baby. They coming down on your ass like they did R. Kelly, bitch, okay? You going down. You going down. Okay, you going down, baby. It ain't nothing you could do to stop this downward spiral that you on, baby. Okay, you going to jail. Whoa, 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 whoa. Jail. You're going to jail. Upale. No, please don't. Upale. No, please don't. You're going to jail, baby. All right. First and foremost, let's just get into this indictment because this is insane. This is insane. Okay. This indictment is the pits. This indictment is the pits. Okay. Can y'all see the indictment? Let me know if you guys can see the indictment. Oh, we're gonna get into the baby boy. Like it's insane. This is insane. First and foremost, the first page has me screaming. This first page right here is diabolical. I'm sorry, and I'm not laughing at the criminal acts. I'm laughing at Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka Diddy, PD, aka Love. I'm shocked they didn't put Brother Love. This is diabolical. The fact that they had to put all these AKAs, what ski wee is going on? This motherfucker really kept changing his name every so couple of years to escape what he was doing to people. This right here is the prime example of gaslighting. You want to see gaslighting in written form? This is it. This is it right here. Okay. This is the 14-page indictment. Okay. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Okay. Racketeering conspiracy. All right. And just so we're clear what this means, racketeering is a set of illegal activities aimed at commercial profit that may be disguised as legitimate business deals. Racketeering is defined by a coordinated effort by multiple people to repeatedly earn a profit, typically by fraud, extortion, bribery, threats, violence, and other illegal means. Okay? So just want to make it clear that we know what racketeering means. Remember in one of the lawsuits, in one of the last civil suits that came against Diddy, where that producer, I can't remember his name. I think it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he sued Diddy and he mentioned Young Miami's name. And he talked about how Young Miami, Daphne Joy, and other women that worked for Diddy were actually basically his handlers in his illegal activities, from sex trafficking to trafficking the pink powder. Like Lil Rod, thank you so much. It was Lil Rod that filed the lawsuit, right? Right? So for those of you guys who doubted his suit, it's in the indictment. He wasn't lying. It's in the indictment. Okay. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. I won't be saying this every time. This is diabolical. The defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So, Bad Boy was really Bad Boy. Pun intended. Bad Boy, all that was a facade. Okay? The music was a facade. Okay? That was basically the opening gate for him to do all of these other crimes. And I don't even think they bring up how he stole from his artists. I mean, that's a whole other case for, you know, some other time. But basically, this was the goal of Bad Boy Enterprises, or whatever Bad Boy was up under. The defendant operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global. Collectively, the Combs business, I ain't gonna do the parentheses thing. Corporate entities in the Combs business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. So Revolt, not saying Revolt now, because I know he's not a part of Revolt anymore, allegedly. But all that was a facade. All that was a facade for him to do his pink powder, sex trafficking, and all that other stuff that he was really up to, okay? All the times relevant to his indictment, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As a part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women into participating in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Have you guys read Don Richard's lawsuit? I did a video on it. Didn't get much attention because, you know, y'all don't be caring about dark-skinned Black women. If you're not a Cassie, you're not delicate. You know, if you're not an ambiguous woman, you're not, you just can't be a victim. These are all things that she put in her lawsuit. The physical abuse by Sean Combs, the defendant, was recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, amongst other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at Los Angeles Hotel in or March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of the hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe that staff member to ensure silence. Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. So obviously they're mentioning Cassie here. Sean Combs, the defendant, used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse and commercial sex. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs' intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. Okay, so again, Little Rod wasn't lying. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, the defendant and others known and unknown were members of and associates of a criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise. Okay. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, amongst other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18 United States Code Section 19614. That is a group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. The Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean. I ain't gonna go through all his aliases. Entities within the Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boys Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global. Individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business, and others known and unknown. When they put the others known and unknown, they're naming other people who obviously are working within the entity. So talent, producers, singers, rappers, like, you know, execs. They did say assistant, like they kind of said those things to assistants and all those things. So, but also I find it funny how, because this is my first time reading it. I'm reading it for the first time with y'all. They're never going to admit that law enforcement was also in Diddy's pocket. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Diddy wasn't just Diddying through Diddy Enterprises. Law enforcement was definitely in his pockets, which is why he was able to bribe law enforcement, security, and all that, you know, so that video of Cassie never came out until 7 years later. Let's be for real. Okay, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprises affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, high-ranking supervision, as well as other associates of Combs. The purposes of Combs' enterprise. They're basically just saying what the real purpose was, which was to do all these criminal acts. Okay, means and methods of the enterprise. Among the means and methods by which Sean Combs and associates of the Combs Enterprises conducted and participated in the conduct and the affairs of the Combs Enterprises included the following. Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as freak-offs. Okay, so Cassie's lawsuit said all this, right? The freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs Enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Okay? He wasn't lying when he was saying he was global. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos. He filmed of victims engaging in these acts with the workers. After the freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover. Who was administering the IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and exertion and drug use? Who was administering this? This is insane. This man had medical. So they wasn't lying. Remember when it came out that allegedly, he had broken Lord, what was his what was did he ever marry that lady? I don't think he did, but allegedly. This is all alleged. Now remember, it's been said that he allegedly broke Kim Porter's nose one time on a yacht, and then he had flown out a doctor to actually give her a new nose. That's what I'm thinking about when we're going through this. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees facilitated the freak-offs by, amongst other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies. Freak-off supplies is crazy, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs. Freak-off supplies is crazy. So that means he also had his own cleaning staff. Like the hotel would have their cleaning staff, but he had his own cleaning staff. He had lighting, cameras, all that shit. Like this was a full-on production. There was a whole freak off staff supplying freak off supplies. So, like what? Delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids in or about March 2024 during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California. Law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies. Now we know finally what they got, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. A 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I have questions. I have questions. It's giving Epstein. It's giving Epstein. It's giving Epstein. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, and amongst other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Monitoring their medical records is crazy. Monitoring their medical records is crazy. Now, Kayla, why are you watching this during class, girl? Put your headphones in, though. Okay? We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Monitoring medical records is crazy. Cassie said this, though. Cassie said this. During and separate from freak-offs, Combs, amongst other things, would hit, kick, threw objects at, drag victims, at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days and weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims and victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak-offs. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial and job security or without repercussions in the form of physical and emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during those freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of these victims. And here's the thing. When they're saying these victims, it's plenty more. Like, motherfuckers gonna have to show up to the stand and testify. Members and associates of Combs Enterprise, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches in his Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles homes, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as a drum magazine. This man is unhinged. Like, this man's actually, his violence is actually worse than I thought. And I'm not shocked, though. But I know Shine is somewhere like, anyway, I know Shine, isn't he in Belize? And isn't he the president of Belize or something like that now? Justice for Shine. Justice for Shine. Members and associates of Combs Enterprises enabled Combs' control over victims by following his direction regarding financial payments to his victims, advancing or suppressing the victims' career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise at times witnessed Combs' violence toward victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. Instead, members and associates of Combs Enterprise helped conceal the violence and abuse by, amongst other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations such as hotels or Combs' residence. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries Combs inflicted without being publicly observed. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. It's giving R. Kelly, it's giving Epstein. When employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others threatened Combs' authority or reputation, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise engaged in acts of violence, threats of financial and reputable harm, and verbal abuse. So not only was he enacting this, so were his employees. Jesse, where do you get your hair from? This is my hairline. This is my wig. I am going to be re-releasing my wigs. I said that in my vlog. But yeah, I am going to be re-releasing my wigs very, very soon. I'm just testing out one more, and that's going to be my Indian. And I actually have somebody coloring my Indian wig now. So after that, just want to test out. I'll be finished testing out all my hair, and then I'm gone. When Combs' authority or reputation was threatened by the possibility of negative publicity or legal or law enforcement action against him, including in or about late 2023, following public allegations of Combs' crimes, Combs and members and associates of the enterprise pressured witnesses and victims, including through attempted bribery, to stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew to law enforcement. On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in effort to conceal Combs' crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. So I think victims started recording these calls because it was unbelievable. Racketeering conspiracy from at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment. Brother Love, the defendant, and others known and unknown being persons employed by and associated with all his damn companies. That's basically what this says. Knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18, United States Code Section 1962, (C), that is to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs Enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity as the term is defined in Title 18. Okay, we already went through the meaning of racketeering. Multiple acts involving kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions. Multiple acts involving arson, chargeable on the, they're just detailing each charge. Multiple acts involving bribery. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18. Child, this shit is beating my ass. Oh, okay. So multiple acts involving bribery, and they break down all the bribery acts, which I'm not going to get into. It was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of Combs Enterprise. You know what I'm noticing as I'm going through this document? They're being very ambiguous. The conspirator, the employees, they're not naming these people's names, right? And I think that there's a strategy behind this. They're giving these people the chance to come forward on their own accord. If you come for, because at the end of the day, they're trying to get to the head. They're trying to cut the head off. Easiest way to cut a snake, you cut the head off, right? But all the people that we've seen throughout the years, kikiing and at the Diddy parties, and I don't know, I didn't see that side. All y'all, they're giving you a chance to come forward on your own accord because they have all the evidence. First of all, when they went and invaded this man's property, they already had their evidence. They just needed it in physical form, but they already had the evidence. And so they're being very ambiguous in their language because trust and believe they know y'all. And they're giving y'all a chance to come forward. Okay, Miss Pink Powder? Okay? All the Mr. Take That's, all you niggas that was down to the parties. Okay? Okay? Okay, like I'm telling y'all, it's people, it's people that y'all are not even thinking of. Or it's people that y'all do not want to admit. Listen, my major was journalism and political science. I went all the way to a master's degree in journalism and strategic communications. I was going to go to law school. When I saw the LSAT, I was like, no, baby. No, baby. No, baby. I was like, no. But honestly, I regret not going to law school because shit, look at Kim K. But all y'all, okay? They're being very ambiguous because they know. They know. Okay? They know. They have 30 years worth of evidence. They know. They know. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. The grand jury further charges from at least or about 2009 and up until this time frame. Basically, the defendant in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18, United States Code Section 1591, parenthesis E, parenthesis 2, and any combination of such means would be used to cause the person to engage in commercial sex act and attempted, aided, and embedded, and willfully caused the same to wit Combs recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, and maintained a person, victim, and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused victim 1 to engage in commercial sex acts knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that victim 1 was engaging in commercial sex acts as a result of force, fraud, and coercion. This is loaded. Harbored? 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 That's crazy. Harbored. It's like you basically hit a person. The fuck? You basically hit a person and then transported them in hiding. Count 3, transportation and engage in prostitution. The grand jury further charges from at least 2009 up until now, the defendant knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that the individual engaged in prostitution and attempted, aided, abetted, and willfully caused the same transfer, like the same language as we heard before. Forfeiture allegations as a result of committing the offense alleged in count 1 of this indictment. The defendant shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18 any and all interest in securities of claims against and property of contractual rights of any kind, affording a source of influence over the enterprise named and described herein, which the defendant established. They're basically taking over his enterprise. You are forfeiting this. As a result of committing the offense alleged in count 2, the defendant shall forfeit to the United States pursuant to Title 18 any and all the property, real, personal, involved in. Oh, you gotta let it all go. Basically, they're taking over all his property. They've already done that, but basically they're just putting it in writing. They're taking over his assets. This is what it is. Substitute assets provision. Yeah, that's what I understood from the get-go. This is pretty insane. I want to go to the press conference. Let's go to the press conference that they had, because the press conference gives more of an understanding. I wonder if the transcript is up yet. Oh, dang. Because I was watching it, but dang, okay. So these are pictures basically of all the firearms that they found at his properties. This is insane, y'all. This is insane. And there are probably more firearms, but it just has me think, Lord, look at all the journalists. Hold on, wait. Hold on. Look at all the, they say, hold on, wait, hold on. They might take this down. Hold on. Oh, I got to get my picture. These are firearms that they were able to, obviously confiscate from his properties. But I wouldn't be shocked that there's more.
Agencies are not allowed to leave of the civil rights unit, powerful or violent, including by making phone calls.
Now I'm gonna skip through. I forgot who this is that's doing the press conference. Let me look and see if they have it. Lord, I would assume this is. If you guys know who he is, please tell me. But I'm assuming he's the head of the NYPD or the Justice Department there. I don't know. I know I'm doing jibber jabber right now. But he basically generalizes the actual indictment. So I'm going to fast forward through that because some of these questions. He's the Attorney General. Thank you very much.
Look, our investigation is ongoing.
Sean Combs long, you say was recurrent.
So we're gonna go to the first question. I thought that this question, thank you, Attorney General Damian Williams. So sorry. This is Attorney General Damian Williams. I thought the first question was perfect, but Attorney General Williams's answer to me was BS.
ABC.
Damian, thanks. The indictment describes aggressive, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today.
You can tell us why. And the reason why is, you know why. You know why. You know why. Let's not sit here and act like Diddy did not have law enforcement individuals in his pocket. You know exactly why. You know exactly why. From Diddy got a key to, around this time last year, Diddy was getting a key to the city in New York. Okay? We've been hearing about these acts when it comes to Diddy for decades. You know why. You know why, Damian, okay? Now, you may have not been Attorney General back then, but you know why. You know why we here. You know exactly why we here. Now I'm not here to criticize Attorney General Williams. I'm just saying, let's just be the fucking real. Let's just be real. Y'all knew. And that's really part of the problem. Y'all knew. Y'all knew. Y'all knew. Y'all knew. Y'all knew. Y'all knew.
And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you. Julia Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Baby, Attorney General Damian Williams is PR down. I'm not taking anything off the table. Again, very ambiguous language. Very ambiguous language. Very ambiguous language. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Thank you so much for saying this. Please hit the like button, y'all, so more people will see this. But very ambiguous language. There is more. Okay? There is more. All right? There's more. There are more people. There are more people. Okay?
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
Is one more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple.
Remember I said that when I was reading the document, I'm like, they being very shady about that because they're being shady about the number of victims, and they're also being shady about the number of employees and who the employees are. They're not naming any names. I think part of that is to protect the victims. Obviously, you want to protect the victims. You do not want to put them in harm's way. You don't want them receiving any more threats. Like in when he begins the press conference, I didn't play it, but he talks about how even this year, like even in this year, Diddy was actively scaring victims. Okay, allegedly he was actively scaring victims and basically threatening victims to stop them from coming forward. And so I think that they're being very strategic in not giving names, not giving a number of the victims, because when you do that too, you put, the person who committed the crimes, you're letting them know who you're gunning for, basically.
The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention.
Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi. We know. Damian, we know. Nous connaît. We know. It was Kid Cudi, we know. Nous connaît. My mic keeps cutting off every time I yell. That's why I need to get another mic, child. This Mac mic too damn sensitive.
Detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points, but we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Julia.
I said that. You know what? I'm gonna let me see if I go to law school. Fuck it.
Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and they were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm biased.
I think before he says anything, I think he's first getting indicted there in New York because that's where the bulk of his enterprises exist. But let me see what he says.
The U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York, I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it. And so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from, it's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and there was violence that was associated with it.
I think the video he's talking about is the one of Cassie, but that was in California, I believe. But also, I do think part of the reason why you see New York doing it is because the bulk of his enterprises exist there, and the bulk of the crimes that they're talking about, like New York was the hub for that. It was the hub for that. But he didn't say that, but I believe that that's part of the reason too. Was that at the residence or a hotel?
That was at a hotel.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press.
Thanks a lot. Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So
this with the R. Kelly case to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
Johnny.
He didn't answer the question of how does this differ from the R. Kelly. I really wanted him to answer that, but he didn't. I don't know if that was intentional or I don't know. But anyway, y'all. That's the bulk of all of this. I mean, not shocked, not surprised. I've honestly been looking forward to this. I think since Cassie's lawsuit dropped, I think a lot of people just felt that because it was out of a certain scope of time that this couldn't happen. However, New York is one of those states where they have been putting forth laws that are giving victims a chance to go back in time and not be under the guise of, oh, well, this is past the statutes of limitations and all that. They've been actively letting victims go back in time and be able to come forward with these lawsuits against, their abusers. And so, what Cassie did was amazing. But also what Don Richard is doing is amazing. And I feel that, Don's lawsuit is not getting the commotion that Cassie got because Don is a dark-skinned Black woman. And then a lot of you too are saying stuff like, oh, but she kept working with him. First of all, that last album where Don's vocals are on his album, those were old vocals. That Brother Love album, everybody on that album, those were songs and vocals that people had been recorded years ago. And Diddy owned those vocals. And so because he owned those vocals, he was able to release those songs whenever he wanted to. Okay. And when you think about the Brother Love era, it was all strategic. These last 2 years, Diddy and his lawyers knew this was happening. They knew. And so he was trying to tug at the hearts of the people. You even have his lawyers saying things like, oh, you know, they're bringing down a black man who was uplifting his community. You know, all the facts will be revealed. Baby, there is no, like, baby, when has Diddy ever uplifted the black community? Diddy was uplifting his pockets. He was uplifting his pockets while being a sexual predator. Point blank, period. Please. Please, okay? Mr. Take That was literally uplifting his pockets. And he was using all his business dealings as a front for what he was really doing. Okay? Disgusting. Disgusting. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna save this live, so if you guys want to go ahead and watch it back, you'll be able to do so. But I want to come in and read the indictment with y'all. I mean, this is really insane. Like, this indictment is really insane from top to bottom. This is diabolical behavior. Like, you know how we talk about diabolical behavior? This is diabolical behavior. Mr. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Brother Love, aka Mr. I'll Pee on You. It's giving Epstein, it's giving R. Kelly, it's giving Harvey Weinstein, it's giving all that. It's giving all that. Oh yeah, and somebody said Kalina defended Diddy. I did see her come out. Kalina is Don Richards' a bandmate from Dirty Money, and she basically says she don't know what she in a word salad basically said she don't know what the fuck Don is talking about. When you actually do your research, Kalina's husband is besties with Diddy, and according to Don's lawsuit, I believe she mentions Kalina about 30 times. I also believe she alludes to Kalina being abused too, okay? And so there are some people out there who really think, there's some women out there who will be abused and think that that's the way of the world. That's just the way it is. And so you coming in and trying to help them and trying to save them, they're actually going to make an enemy out of you. You know, and so it's disgusting. It's actually disgusting because it's like, girl, Kalina, I know you're not making no money. I know, like, I literally, your last claim to fame was Love and Hip Hop, you know, and I say this as somebody who did a season on Love and Hip Hop, but I'm also like a nobody. I was never in nobody's famous girl group. I was never up under Diddy. I was never traveling the world and selling out stadiums. Okay. I'm still on the come up. All right. Your last claim to fame was Love and Hip Hop. That already should let you know all of the misery, all of the abuse that you went through at the hands of your husband and at the hands of Diddy did nothing for you. You would have been better just shutting the fuck up. Period. Who do y'all think is next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next, y'all? Who do y'all think is next? I'm not gonna repeat what y'all saying. I will say this: if he was still alive, Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell. And there are a couple people that I know right now who are famous, who aren't as big as Diddy though. Especially producers. I mean, we saw the lawsuit with what's her name? Do y'all think the CMAs didn't nominate Beyonce because of that damn the Dream lawsuit? Hey, went back on one. Davis, to me, I don't think he would necessarily be next like Diddy or like Epstein or like Harvey Weinstein. I think Clive Davis was a financially abusive person, in the sense that he made so much money. The contracts that he put people into, from the Alicia Keyses to the Whitney Houstons, like the J Records moment. Like, Clive Davis is definitely one of those people who was predatory, but financially. I don't know that he was sexually predatory. Don't know that. So I don't know if I would say he's next, but he was definitely financially abusive. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Christos. The fact that, you know what's crazy? Somebody sent me an audition a couple months ago for a Christos movie. And I was like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What if he is one of the people that they're being ambiguous about in the indictment? Somebody said TD Cakes. You people are demonic. You people are demonic. Okay? You people are demonic. All right. I actually have a 1 o'clock meeting. Have a 1 o'clock meeting. Let me go ahead and let y'all go. And I'm going to go ahead and save this and upload it so you guys will be able to see it. I'm probably going to come back later on to do like a segment totally dedicated to Haitians, because it's been so much going on. And I was going to like make a video, but I don't know. I kind of like going live with y'all because I get to see the feedback and we get to have more fun. So let me know if you guys feel the same. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you guys. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Love you.